you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Alliance Forever. Today I have a 6v6 custom match here on the map Adaptive Delta RIVA. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 in the Northwest, ending with Team 2 in the Southeast. Starting off with Team 1's frontmost player, it is in Pac-Man Yellow, Fergus 1080, going first land. He is a 1400 and he is an Aeon. To his northwest in lightish red pink, we have Mutant Gene Pool going first land as a Seraphim. He is a 800 and he is a Seraphim. To his northeast in orange to orange, we have Sapir going first land as a UEF. He is an 1800, the highest rank on Team 1 and in the game overall, and he is a UEF. In Light Oak Tam, we have YNG Crayons going first land. He is an Aeon. He is a 1000 rated. Again, he's going first land. In Barbie Pink to the north, we have Alfie123 going first land as another Aeon here for his team. He is a 1400. And last but not least, for Team 1 in the northwest corner of the map, we have Melonwise going first air. He is a Seraphim. He is in Batman Gray, and he is a 1300. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have 3 Aeon, 2 Seraphim, and 1 UEF, which means they lack access to Cybran technology. Starting off with Team 2's most frontline player, it is Martyr1 going first land, second air. He is a Seraphim in Ruby Red at a 1700 rating, the highest rank on Team 2. To the southeast in Rust, we have Drunk Warning going first air. He is a UEF. He is an 1100, and again, he is going first air. To his southwest on the same island as him is our Soul Carnt going first land, second air. He is a Cybran. He is a 1200, and he is in Chevy Crimson. To the west in Glow in the Dark Green, we have Ricky Tiki Tabby going first land. He is an Aeon, and he is a 1000 rated. And to the southeast, we have the first of the 2 purple players. We have Han Solo going first land as a UEF and 1300. And to his east in Amethyst Purple, we have Omnihaven going first land, second air. He is a Cybran. He is a 1500, and he is an Amethyst Purple. So for Team 2 side of the map, they have 2 Cybran, 1 Seraphim, 2 UEF, and 1 Aeon, which means Team 2 has access to all of the technologies in the game, and Team 1 is lacking Cybran. Let's take a look at the reclaim here before our players scoop it all up. And for 12 players, we have 56,000 reclaim, which is about 4,500. It's a little bit shy of 5, but I think it's like 4,500. I can't do math in my head right now. And in terms of mass point layouts, well, this is an actual made map. It's not a Neuroxys map generator, so for those familiar, you'll know the layouts. But for those who are not, there is 2 central islands that our players can go after, each of them having a nice little, I don't want to say dormant volcano hill crater thingy with a tri-mix position and a couple of useful structures, a T2 radar and a nice little P-gen. Usually those are reclaimed, but sometimes they are captured. Just depends on the situation. There's also another position in the southwest and the northeast our players can go after with, of course, a little bit of reclaim. Not really a lot of mexes in terms of overall. So our players will be highly focused on getting as many as they can and then going straight for RASCOM, mass fabs, that sort of production. So let's go ahead and see what our players are getting their noses into. We see in the northwest 1 player on each team going for this northeastern island. Crayons and Martyr1 are going to fight over. There is 2 T1 PD facilities. I think there's also an T1 AA as well. That is a civilian, which means no one has allegiance. They show no allegiance to anyone, and they're just going to sit there and shoot at everything that comes on there. I do notice that there's a couple of Cybran manufacturing facilities down here. Didn't notice that till now. Don't know if that was added. Maybe that was added and I just didn't pay attention to it, but I don't remember those being there in terms of the edges of those islands. We do see movement here for Team 2 out from Ricky Tiki Tavi. His mirror to the northwest of Fergus is not on he's on his way, but he's a little bit lagging behind, which means it gives a huge advantage for Ricky Tiki Tavi to push in, grab the reclaim on the edge here, and then be able to go for the middle of that island. This is one of my favorite maps, and for those who are familiar with my casting, you kind of know I'm a little bit partial to Navy. So, you know, obviously there's a lot of water, which means there's a lot of Navy. So it is definitely a favorite of mine. But, of course, don't let that stop the air and land coverage, as, of course, we will see T2 already started here for Mutant Gene Pool in the northwest. He wants to get his production online sooner rather than later. He's going for straight T2. He's also getting his naval facility online as well. Of course, spam facility starting to be established here for Team 1's Pac-Man yellow player of Fergus 1080. I always want to say 2080, but it is a 1080. In the northeast, we do see drops going down here for Drunk Warden, grabbing this little mech's position up here. We'll most likely go after the civilian structures over here, maybe even just grab the radar outright, but we'll just have to see what he decides to do. Usually the air players go after the, I don't know, the dormant volcano positions in the northwest and the south, right, northeast and southwest. And right now we are seeing Han Solo grabbing the southwest one. We can see T1 PD immediately established, going to blow up that nice little T2 PGen, going to reclaim it, and then go from there. So in this scenario, he does not opt for the capture. He goes for the nice little explosion. He'll grab the reclaim and then go from there. And, of course, we do see some Team 1 bombers coming online here for Fergus, trying to slow down Ricky Tiki Tavi's expansion here in the southwestern island. Nice little drop. Kills off that engineer, going for a nice little radar system. Had 1 HP more to go to be completed, but unfortunately it'll just have to be delayed for the time being. I do love the first and second sub outbound here, also from Fergus, trying to deny any early frigates that will come out from Team 2. So essentially they will have to go sub to counter this, or just have to sprint towards T2 air to be able to deal with that easily. But it just goes to show that getting a couple of subs early is definitely beneficial. It locks out a lot of damage that can be done to you, especially if your opponent is only going for frigates, which currently Team 2 is going for sub as well, so it works. It doesn't work in this scenario, but in other scenarios it does work, I should say. In the northeast, the engineers are hurriedly coming in to assist their commander of Martyr 1, but unfortunately Crayons has gotten to the middle of the map and will start to reclaim all that. He's done all the hard work, though, of clearing this position out. It will allow for Martyr 1 to push in with no reservations. We do see a drop outbound here from Team 1's Alfie going for this little position. And usually it's the rear guard air slots that go for it, but apparently the side, not side islands, but the island next to the rear guard is the ones that are grabbing those mountainous positions. And it's very difficult to take those out just due to the fact of how tall those mountains are, those missiles on board Seraphim and UEF cruisers. You know, it's just such a huge arc to go over that a lot of times they really don't make it. And especially because T2 TMD does a huge job in just locking it down. It's essentially bombers have to be hand delivering democracy or liberation or whatever you want to call it to that position to be able to take that out. I have been playing Helldivers 2, and I will be playing Helldivers 2 again after this cast. It is such a good game. So much fun. And it's a little repetitive, of course, but man, is it fun. It's been a while since I've played a game where it's just like, hey, let's just go to this little spot on a planet and blow some bugs or automatons up. It's very fun. Very much enjoy it. Highly recommend it. It's a nice, I wouldn't say relaxed game, I would say, but it's not, you don't have to constantly, micro units. You don't have to constantly micro eco or any of that stuff. It's a very slimmed down game. So it's very fun. I would highly recommend it if you have not gotten it already. T2 coming online here for Martyr 1 in the northeast. Crayon's pushing forward. He doesn't have any upgrades on board his commander. He's going to run phase first into his opponent. There's a lot of units online here for him as well, but they are Aurora, though, and they have the benefit of range, but charging them headfirst into the enemy is probably not the best idea. or start getting some veterancy from Martyr 1's commander. There is a lot of artillery though here. Those T1 fervors, that's definitely going to possibly try to lock down Martyr 1's upgrade and force him into the water. He won't be killed from this, but he has to force his units forward to get after those, and the upgrade actually will get canceled off. Felt like his forces were enough to deal with those artillery, but he just didn't want to take too much damage, which I don't blame him. The column of crayons is right here. Of course, he has his own Zui artillery trying to force back crayons as well. The Martyr Run did fall into the yellow, so definitely a good move in moving before he took too much damage, but at least for the time being, this position for Team 1 will suffice, and Team 2 will just build a nice little another T2 upgrade to be able to try to hold the position even further. We do see Navy online here for Team 1. Sapir actually coming in around the island trying to isolate Martyr 1 and try to kill him off. His upgrade will be forced to cancel once again, and he'll be forced into the water. Also some reinforcements for Team 1 from the eastern side, so a nice little pincer maneuver trying to isolate the northeastern island is underway, and it does look like it is doing a whole lot of work here for Team 1 in securing the northeastern island for them. In the southwest, we see a very similar situation happening, except for Team 2. Ricky Tiki Tavi is forcing back Fergus's commander. Fergus also does not have any upgrades on board that commander. Ricky Tiki Tavi has the sensor package, which means he can see almost, well, if he would stand in the middle of that island, he could see essentially the entire thing. But for now, he sees about half of it, so he doesn't really need a radar. Radar would be nice, and he should go for it. But at least he has some vision. We do see the column of Mutant Gene Pool coming in to assist as well. So 2 columns moving in here for Team 1, trying to secure this island as well. They want to get both of the central islands. But unfortunately here, Team 2 has grabbed the northeastern corner and will soon grab the southwestern corner. So Team 1's efforts to focus on the middle has allowed Team 2 to grab the edges. So there is something to be said about both strategies. Of course, I always prefer things to chess. If you try to go for the edges, which there are no, quote, edges, it's just an 8x8 square. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but grabbing the middle usually works, so it's riskier, but you get your rooks out, you get your knights out. It does make a huge difference as the game progresses, but it does look like Team 2 will lose Martyr 1 here just due to the torpedoes on board those subs, and it is now a 6v5 in favor of Team 1. Team 2 has lost their highest rated player. Now they're going to have to be on defense here for a while. Team 1, they can take it 2 ways. They can continue to press the issue, or they can hang back a little bit and focus on upgrading their mechs. Team 2 has decided to do of course, they're defensive. They don't have a lot of options. They're upgrading their mechs as we speak, and they're at 430 while Team 1's at 370 mass income. And now the T1 facilities are being run down here. Nice little Cooper online just spamming up those torpedoes, really just giving it to those Seraphim structures. Looks like going to be Omni-Haven's going to spam up some of those Zuis here and just try to force back Team 1 with hover spam. We do see T2 Air and Navy online here for Drunk Warden. He's probably going to start spamming out those torpedo bombers here pretty shortly, as well as his teammate on his island of Seoul. And T3 Air is online here at 11 minutes for Team 2. Team 1 does have T3 Air as well. And looks like Team 1's other player of Alfie not going for air, focusing on Navy. So as Team 1's Sapir, but he is focused on T3 Navy. He wants to get probably those Neptunes online sooner rather than later. And as a UEF main, I can definitely see where he's going with that. Those things just wreck Team 1, T1 and T2 Navy. And some T3, they just have to get in range is the issue. If the battleships stay out of range of those Neptunes, it doesn't really do anything because you can't shoot at your opponent because they're out of range, and then they kill you, and then that's it. This is Warden problem now, says Omni-Haven. Yeah, I mean, it definitely is. He is nearby. He's producing some of those frigates. He needs to probably get some destroyers online to really force back this fleet of Team 1. We do see those other facilities in the northeast being a little bit more of a distraction here, allowing a little bit of time here for Drunk to get some more forces online. A couple of those Aurora have made landfall here. Frigates bombarding the shoreline and central facilities here for Team 2's now Omni-Haven. T2 is online in terms of the land situation. He probably needs to get those Yenzin online to start forcing this T1 hover spam that is outbound from Crayon back. But in the southwest, with 2 comms online in this southwestern island, Team 1 is gaining some ground and momentum here. It's going to force back Ricky Tiki Tavi, especially with Newton Gene Pool going for a tactical missile. It's really going to just wreck his eco pretty shortly if he doesn't get any TMD online. But he is getting some assistance from some Cormorant T2 Torp bombers outbound from Seoul to assist with measures in that regard. So Team 2 focusing a little bit more on air, and Team 1 focusing a little bit on Navy. Well, again, in a Navy map, it's kind of hard not to focus on it. I'm trying to see T2 also coming online here for Crayons. He has gun online. He has gun speed, and he's going to go for T2 just to assist with engineering and his facilities. We are seeing those Aurora landing 1 by 1, 2 by 2, and Zooey spam is underway. T2 PD, those Utashalas, very, very effective in dealing with those T1 Aurora. We do see some frigates come around the back here from Crayons to try to just constantly annoy and snipe at the eco here for Team 2. And Team 2 still staying in lead for the time being for eco, but of course as time goes on, the more Team 1 has this territory, the more mass it's being funneled into their coffers. And it's just going to jump start their eco very, very quickly. Team 2 needs to no-go build Navy, can't afford, says Omnihaven. This is where the opposite team is, says Martyr. This is where the what? This is where... I don't know what that means. GG's, Han, you lag, bro. No, I really don't. I see Alfie. Anyway, they're talking in chat. A lot of players part of the A and Z clan, so I'm kind of surprised that they're not in Discord, that they're, just texting one another. I don't know if it's just they're in 2 different calls, but it's all to all, so I don't know. I feel like they probably have a team call, and then they're just talking to one another via chat. I do like that because it allows for instant communication between your teammates. You don't have to type something out and deal with all that kind of nonsense. You can just say, hey, there's enemies coming from the west or the east or whatever, and they can respond a lot quicker. Of course, Fergus renaming his comm to himself, except with a little less than or greater than signs next to him. And of course, we do see Mutant Gene Pool forcing his way forward as well as an assist. Team 1 is really exerting their power over the map here. They're forcing Team 2 into a corner. And in the northwest corner, speaking of which, there's a nice little Executor class, Exexus, not Executor, that is Star Wars. Coming online, T1 and T2 Pigeons about to get wiped off the face of the map. And a lot of them actually aren't even T2, they're only T1. None of the upgrades have been started. This one, well, none of them are probably safe to upgrade, I would assume, so looks like Drunk Warner is just going to keep those at T1. But it does look like his destroyers are online, forcing back the fleet from Team 1. And now with the spam outbound from Omnihaven, there's a little bit of time to get some more defenses and now some shields online. We do see an attack outbound here from the west from Han Solo going after the facilities for Fergus, trying to lock out his supply chain and force him back. And it's doing pretty well. He's diverting all of his attention northwestward, and we even see some attention from Seoul coming in to assist as well. So nice combined fleet here coming after Team 1. There's only a nice little T2 sub-hunter right here. A couple of frigates. Realistically, that's not really a lot of firepower. You have a couple of destroyers, both online for these 2 players from Team 2. And, oh, well, this is also Team 2's fleet, to be fair. So these 3 fleets are Team 2. Again, it's a little bit frustrating when you have similar colors on opposite sides of the teams. You have yellow and glow-in-the-dark green, which are very similar at, close glance, at far distance away, but close glance they also are different, of course. But anyway, got a little bit confused there. That Bulwark T2 shield boat got annihilated there. Of course, there is a nice little fleet of T1 frigates and 1 destroyer, but build up in the middle is starting to commence here for Team 1. It's where a lot of the naval action does take place. It's where a lot of slower action, because you get T3 battleships and a bunch of destroyers and frigates, and it's really hard to move those ships really effectively when you get large numbers of them. It just becomes difficult. T2 hover tech now coming online here for Ricky Tiki Tavi, trying to get his way back onto land. We do see Fergus trying to flee to the middle of the island to avoid the attack power from those Salems and frigates. And essentially all his forces have been dealt with. Tactical missile launcher online here from Han Solo. Love to see that play. taking out all of those facilities. We do see a nice little destroyer actually on land here for Team 2's Soul. This might be a kill on Mutant Gene Pool. He has T2, gun, and missile launcher. And that destroyer is just going to sit there and pummel him. He has a nice little Utashala on mine. I wish that destroyer would actually retask on the firing on that thing. But this is forcing back Team 1. Both of the comms on Team 1 essentially have nothing to fight with and are just kind of running around trying to avoid being shot at. But it does look like confined fleets from Team 1 also forcing back Team 2. Transferring control over units in the middle of a fight, probably not the best idea. But they do take out the destroyer here from Seoul very realistically quickly, so not a huge issue, but definitely not the best thing to do in the middle of a fight. And Hovertech building up here for Team 1 here in the east. We do see some bombers outbound here from Team 2, but ASF's coming in to intercept them. I don't know what they're going after, but they just got annihilated. They're probably going after either Crayons or the T2 naval headquarters. But those are going nowhere, unfortunately, here for Team 2. And I don't see any other efforts to go T3 air. So it's just one player on Team 1 has T3 air. Team 2 also only has one player going T3 air. But they do have 2 players on Team 2 as well that have T2 air. So that is a benefit in that regard, being able to, if they need to upgrade to T3 and start assisting in the air game. I only see that one air facility upgraded, which, I mean, in a naval game, you need your own. I stress this a lot for a lot of naval players. You need your own T2 air. You never go T3 air, that's fine. But getting your own bombers online so you can relieve the strain from your air player from building them themselves, huge amounts of time and effort will be saved just from building your own facility. Even if it's just one. Just something is better than nothing, of course. But T2 artillery built to deal with that destroyer outbound from Seoul. Seoul trying to move out of the way, and that artillery from the destroyer is it's really wreck and shop of that static facility here. And now we see one little cruiser remains of this fleet that Han Solo had. A lot of emphasis from Team 1 is going on this western attack raid, which is drawing a lot of attention away from the middle. And realistically, Team 2 really has nothing to defend with this, which means it's huge for them not being able to have to worry about an attack straight down the middle. In the northeast, Drunk Warden is being forced back off his little northeastern corner, but does have a small fleet here to protect as well. We do see that hover pseudo fleet here from Crayons kind of just get wrecked by destroyers and frigates. They're going to go nowhere, unfortunately, but the hover tech and submarine tech, air quotes, from Team 2's Omni Haven is going to be huge to force back Crayons. I think he realistically has nothing to defend against this. Just the amount of attack power. We see those Yenzin, of course, as well as the Otham underneath the surface and T3 mobile shields. Don't know why those are very far forward. Probably should force those back a little bit, but it does give enough time for those engines to get onto land. Team 2 has some Tort bombers online going for the... Why aren't they going for the cruisers? Go for the cruisers. That's the main target. Take out the stuff that can shoot at you and then take out everything else. Those bombers are going after the shield boats, it looks like, which isn't a huge... It's not like a huge mismanagement, but I feel like taking out the anti-air is definitely more worth it versus the shield. There are still some destroyers. Actually, there's one destroyer, one Cooper online, and that destroyer is being double teamed here by Team 1's Sapir. ASF's coming in to secure the skies above those cruisers here from Team 1's Melonwise, and Team 2 is not responding in kind. Team 2 really doesn't have a lot of air. Well, I mean, he is using his secondary island as a staging facility. It's 41 ASF, so, a decent amount to play with. 21 minutes on the clock. Let's take a look at the ecos for both teams and game overall. Team 2 at 1.1k mass income. Team 1 at 800, not even 900. But Team 2 more than 200 mass income, more than their opponents. And it will definitely show in the next couple of minutes with all the boats and upgrades they're about to get online pretty shortly. Team 1 at 6 players left. Team 2 at 5 players left. And of course, the downside with having it be a full share / partial share is the fact that now the rearguard air slot player now has access to another base, which means more eco and more nonsense that you can start pushing out of those air facilities. I do love the separation, of course, of the air grid. Has a small one here, has another one here, and then has the T3 air facility kind of isolated. I wish there was a little bit more P-gens next to it, but besides that, I do love it being isolated from everything else. So if, of course, the cascade happens, he doesn't lose the ability to produce T3 air. I mean, you can always build an additional headquarters, but who has the time and energy and mass for that? You could just not even worry about it. The island has now been reconquered here by Team 2. Unfortunately, they have not a lot of engineers on station, so it's going to take them a minute to get to everything. And hopefully he builds some TMD that looks like an artillery. No, I think that's a volcano. No, it's a Mara. It's a T2 anti-air. I wish he was going for the volcano so he could deal with those missiles outbound here from the cruisers. But the pseudo fleet here from Omnihaven forcing back the production facilities here for Team 1's Crayons. He does have a T3 naval online, but a lot of the fleet here from Team 1 has been forced back, and another group of torpedo bombers are inbound. Looks like they're going straight for that T3 naval headquarters. Actually, no, they're splitting off and going after the shield boats, it looks like. But they all get killed off by the AA. I don't know if that was realistically worth it, though. The shield boats lose their capacity on board the shields. At least one of them do, and the other one is still online. The Yenzine now leave the land and start hovering above the surface of the water. Zui going after those destroyers. You got to move those destroyers, Crayons, or they're going to get wiped out by the artillery. Oh, there it goes. Too late. And now the fleet's consolidating. There we go. Into the north. That group of units is not really going to get a lot of work done anymore. T3 naval battleship is online here for Team 1's mutant gene pool. And that thing is nuclear capable, which means it could easily build a nuke. It's going to take a while, of course, to get to that point where he is building nukes, but still, having your battleship produce nukes is not overpowered because it's not a separate boat like all the other races have, but still, it's still cool that you can, build a nuke on board that battleship. Air grid being nice and plump. Love the shield starting to be built here by Melonwise. Still no air. Still very confusing why he's not going for air. Again, at least T2 gets some, torp bomber spam or something. But nobody on Team 1 besides the air player has an access to T2 air. I feel like that's a huge misstep. And Team 2 could try to exploit that. Unfortunately, with the amount of cruisers that are being built constantly from Team 1, that the efforts are going to be not necessarily in vain, but a lot more difficult to deal with just because of all the AA moving around here. And that T3 battleship starting to force its way forward. Groups of units retreating here from Team 2's Ricky Tikki Tavi while the Cybern fleet holds position. Teleporter coming online here from Mutant Gene Pool. Right here. Not back there. Right there. Don't know why he's going for teleporter there, but maybe we'll see what he's going to do. I would fall back at least a little bit. He's pretty close to the front line, and if Team 2 notices this, it's definitely not a good day here for him. With that fleet here in the middle starting to push forward, Team 2 needs to consolidate their forces at least a little bit. They have a defensive fleet in the east, but that is going to be outclassed and outmatched here pretty soon by Team 1's fleet, outbound from Alfie. Drunk Warden still has the northeastern corner for the time being, but probably will lose that here pretty shortly. And there goes the attack. The battleship staying at range while the T3 Neptune class battlecruiser is online. And of course, as I say, this thing will rip through T1 and T2 like it's butter. Dual laser cannons online, just raking havoc, combining that with the long range of the T3 battleship. And this fleet outbound from Team 2 is going to see better days, most definitely. He will see better days. Well, will not see better days because it's being ripped apart, I should say. There are some destroyers online, of course, but the hit points on board that Neptune, 25,000 versus 6,500, definitely favors one direction over the other. We do see another wing of bombers outbound. Don't know what they're... Looks like they're going after the sub-hunters. They split apart, going after each of them. They will kill both of them off simultaneously. Love to see that. And those bombers are going to reattach now onto the destroyer. go after the weaker units. 2 strap bombers over the top deal a huge amount of damage to that Neptune class. Another bomber over the top targeting the T2 destroyers outbound from Mutant Gene Pool. It does look like they get underneath the shield to protect themselves, but huge amount of hit points. It keeps the Neptune class out of combat, and the ASFs get a huge engagement here from Team 2's Omni Haven, and it does look like a lot of ASFs were killed off in that engagement for both teams, but it does look like Team 2 had a little bit better job of it. Unfortunately, though, Omni Haven looks like he's lacking in the numbers, however. Melon-wise is at... Oh, it's actually almost the exact same. About 2 off, so pretty close. Gunship comes in, gets immediately annihilated. Second battleship joins the fray here for Team 1. And Team 2 needs to get their battleship online, and there is one, the Galaxy class. And I don't see any more here from Team 2. We do see some Neptunes coming online for Drunk Warden in the east. Love to see that. And right now, Team 1, I mean... they need bombers immediately. They need T2 bombers. Those torp bombers. I just don't know why they're not going for it. None of them are, except maybe for Team 1's airplane, but even he's not going for it. Just a bunch of spy planes and ASFs. And just the spam of cruisers. Dual battle cruiser online. The destroyers trying to target the shield boats, of course, take out all of the protection and then go for everything underneath. And Neptune, it's, 3,600 hit points. There's more destroyers here to the east. And there it goes. The battleship's still online. Losing hit points every now and then, but, it's not dead yet. The battleship, though, is now in range and should target those Neptune immediately. We do see the healthier of the 2 Neptunes leading the charge against the remaining fleet from Omni Haven. And it does look like this Neptune will be fine for the time being. We see an Almen online. There we go. For Team 1's Crayon. And it's just second and third battleship online and moving to the front here. Team 2 is spamming those out. Omni Haven bringing it up the rear with some more bombers. Needs to target those destroyers, not destroyers, but battle cruisers. They're glorified destroyers, of course, but they do a lot of damage. They destroy a lot of stuff, so that's the word. But in the east, we see the Neptune here from Team 2's Drunk just get annihilated by destroyers. The attack vector here from Team 1 definitely is almost clear to just go straight for the production line of Drunk Warden. And those destroyers and battleships, they're not targeting the Neptune. I get wanting to take all the support craft out, all those bulwarks and stuff, but you need to take out the stuff that's really killing you, which are both of these Neptunes. Both of them are severely weak, though. A couple of shots will kill them off. More bombers inbound, going after something. Most likely going after those Neptunes. Looks like, yep, they will kill that one. And that one will die here pretty shortly. Gunships online here. Whaler class coming into range. AA being taken out. And there goes the ASF fight once again over top of both of the fleets. And it looks like Team 2 is definitely going to get the better engagement. Actually singes the back of Melon-wise as well. So definitely ASFs reside with Team 2. And that Neptune gets out of range. The battleships from Team 2 probably should have targeted that. 2 more coming online here. And wow, Sola's just pumping those things out. He has 2 main facilities. And those are both just going for constant battleship production. Another one online here for Omni Haven. He's coming up the rear. He's also in the naval game, which is sometimes interesting because he's the air player. So, I mean, to be fair, there are attacks in the east that are happening. So, definitely fair for him to go for that. T3 naval is the priority here, but Summit class is online, focusing those destroyers first. There is that Omen coming online here, or in range. T3 naval will be lost here for Drunk Warden. Unfortunately, those engineers can only repair so much damage so quickly. There it goes. But it does look like in the bay, Team 1 is going to be stopped for the time being. And now the focus on that battleship. It's not going well here for Team 2 on this eastern side. They lost Martyr 1 early. And of course, they're losing the eastern side. But the middle is holding strong for the time being with so many battleships coming online. And those ones sitting very close to one another. Definitely not the best idea here for Mutant Gene Pool. You get a little AoE splash on the other one, and it doesn't feel good. There goes one battleship. It is down. Another Neptune joins the fray. How's the western side looking? Well, there's an attack from the west, outbound here from Han Solo, and he has 2 Atlantic-class experimental aircraft carriers online. And Mutant Gene Pool still here and about to finish that teleporter upgrade. He's been doing that for a while now. It will finish off, but unfortunately, once those Atlantis come into range, which they have emerged from the surface of the water, from below the surface of the water, they probably should go back under because that's a lot of firepower. You got it. Atlantis needs to submerge. Also, a couple Neptunes in the mix there as well. I get wanting to use the AA on board the Atlantis class, but it's I mean, I get it, I really do, but gotta worry about those artillery artillery weapons platforms on board those ships. Luckily, there's no battleships in this mix here for Team 2, so that's a little bit of a benefit, but still probably should submerge them. That's what I would do. And yep, they do submerge immediately when those Neptunes get into range. This Neptune will die, but they're going to hold off the attack. They pulled so much attention away from the middle that it allows Team 2 to push on forward, take out the engineering facilities going for reclaim, and being able to establish a nice little front line in the middle of the map. And it does look like On the Haven's going to do another attack vector with this hover tech, probably going for the T3 naval headquarters, where Crayon is trying to cripple Team 1's production. And still Drunk Water and Horde Zone to most of the northeastern island. Team 2 didn't kill that off, and now the Omen over here is just being picked apart slowly by those bombers. Team 2 going to get their T3 naval back online. And just the amount of torpedoes on board those Atlantises just deal tons of damage to any ship that comes into range. Neptune looks like it's almost dead. That's the one that's been alive the longest. In my opinion, shouldn't still be alive due to the Galaxy classes over there. Looks like the engines on those submarines are they're in the land. They're in the ground. That's definitely not where you want to put them, because they don't work if they're filled with dirt and grime and whatever else is underneath the water. But, Team 2 is holding their own now in the middle of the map, and now with this attack vector, it's going to draw more forces away. And Nuke is outbound from Team 1's Melon-wise. Where is the Nuke going? Either for the middle against the Galaxies. Nope, it's going for Team 2's main base of Rikki-Tikki-Tavi. And there is no SMD loaded, unfortunately, here for Team 2's players, so that will definitely hurt. And all the engineers are fleeing northward. Unfortunately, I think some of them will be caught in the blast. The game is still running at +0, but sometimes these Navy games do slow down the system a little bit just due to the amount of stuff happening at the same time. But Othams now going to be used for their torpedo capable, going after the T3 naval headquarters here for Crayons. And they don't have a lot of they don't have any torpedo defense, so it's just as much damage as they can do. Still at 11,000 hit points, but it's slowly falling. But the thing is, it's slowly falling. The amount of torpedoes outbound from the fleet here from Team 1 will rip apart the rest of these Othams. And it's just not going to kill it up, but it's, again, forced the units back once again and allowed for Team 2 to gain more ground in the middle. Looks like there's some attacks outbound from Mutant Gene Pool. He's going for T3 now. He's in the yellow, so probably should watch out where he stands. And now the T3 battleship chasing the summit here from Team 2's Han Solo. Unfortunately here for that Athum, those 2 Atlantises are perfectly fine and going to rip apart the rest of the hit points on board that battleship. T3 is almost done here for Mutant Gene Pool. I wonder what he's going to do. He's going to teleport somewhere. I just don't know where. Oh, and of course, apologies. Kaboom! That base has been at least surgically had its mass removed. So Team 2's Rikki-Tikki-Tavi isn't producing as much as he used to, but he's still in the game on 100+ mass income, and he's doing a decent amount of work getting a ton of engineering stations online in terms of these T1 naval, just to pump out engineers and scoop up the glorious amount of 224,000 reclaim on the map. And most of it being in the middle, as you would expect it to be. Some of it, actually, there's mass up here that still isn't even reclaimed, but it looks like it's from Team 1 killing off Team 2's facility in... No? Maybe this was Team 2 attacking Team 1, because this is they've held that facility the entire time, so maybe not. Han Solo's built another experimental, most likely another Atlantis, wherever the heck he put it. Don't know where he... What? I don't know where he put it. Oh, it's right here. Didn't even notice it. And Team 1 now having to divert attention from the middle to the west to deal with that push. It does look like Mutant Gene Pool's going somewhere. Oh, he's going somewhere. Hold on, he's going somewhere. Let me track that commander. Go back to main view so we can check out what's going on with the naval side of things. Once I move my vision off of it, he'll probably teleport, so I'm going to sit here and wait. He's already half done. Looks like there are more Neptunes coming into range, but there are more bombers going after the Neptunes, I would assume. T3 Omens just receiving tons of firepower from the Galaxy that are online. And yep, that Neptune just got annihilated. Looks like it's also taking out the Omen class as well. Okay, it's at 75-80%. More ships to the north coming into range. Gunships also being used by Omnihaven, so he's going more for a versatile lineup versus just straight ASFs. It was definitely very useful in that. There's not a lot of cruisers online for Team 1 now, so those gunships have a lot of room to work. Okay, the teleport is about to emerge. There it goes in the south, going after all the engineering stations. There is some triads coming online here for Team 2's Han Solo, and he's going after all those hives, all those kennels, excuse me. But he honestly could probably teleport out of there. AoE from those bombers, take out a couple of these engineering stations. And now a Ravager's online. Oh, I don't know if this was really worth it. Mutant Gene Pool, it wasn't really worth it. You took out a couple of kennels, but that was it. Team 1 loses the first player of the game at 37 minutes to Han Solo's defenses. Now back to the Navy. Omens and omens and omens. It's a lot of bad omens here for Team 1 and Team 2. There they are attacking the fleet for Team 2's Galaxies. A bad omen for the Galaxy is essentially, that might be the title of the video or the thumbnail. Just a bad omen. Let's see any other... Anything going on in terms of big things. Oh, we do see a Tempest under construction phase for Crayons. And the Nuke is outbound going for Omnihaven's additional base that Martyr 1 graciously donated to him upon his death. Another Nuke outbound. Some otherwise had 2 in the clip. Unless there's another nuclear facility, I don't know. But there it goes. The Omni's going to go down and kaboom! Team 2 receives another nuke to the face. And it's killed off 39,000. No, yep, that is a second nuke. Killed off 38,000. So one Apocalypse launcher here from Alfie and one... How the heck did I even get wet? What? Oh, how the heck did I even get vet? Oh, I heard wet. Oh, I read vet. But it's a very long name for that T3 strategic missile launcher. And it's going for this position, but there is an SMD loaded. So Drunk Warden will be fine. And he actually moved just in case. Definitely smart, even if you are protected. There could be a bomber that comes in and annihilates you. Definitely not what you want to do. We see a bug coming online here for Omnihaven. Lots of bugs recently in the past couple games. I don't know why everyone's fascination with bugs, but for some reason everyone does have those fascinations. We see lots of Galaxies online here for Team 2. Just the attack power alone. We have 9 online here for Soul. And Omnihaven has 4, plus the other Omen. So that's 14 versus Team 1's 3, 6, 7. So it's essentially a 2-to-1 advantage here for Team 2. They could just continue to pressure Team 1. Another Tempest online here, this time coming out of Fergus. And Team 1, of course, only has access to Seraphim, Aeon, and UEF tech. They do not have access to Cybran technology, which means they cannot produce any crabs. They can produce monkeys, bugs, Scathis, but they do have access to Atlantis, which I haven't seen yet from Team 1. There's only one player that has UEF tech, and that is in the rear guard. No, that's Seraphim. Yeah, right here for Sapier. He's gone for Neptunes. Probably. I am surprised he hasn't gone for any Atlantises, but now the Atlantis has joined the fray here in the middle, and with all those torpedoes on board, one of them actually at 3-star veterancy, the other one at 3-star veterancy, so another 30% hit points for them. I heard a nuke explode, but torpedoes outbound here for that Atlantis. And of course, Team 2 needs to get some cruisers online. Finally, somebody else on Team 1 has a T2 air facility, and T3 as well, and that is Sapir. I don't know why it took them this long, but it did. Groups of torpedo bombers building up here for Melonwise, and there goes Control K, I'm assuming, here from Team 1. Yeah, Fergus looks like he Control K's his base is essentially gone. I do understand he just can't really do much anymore. He could be given units to Micro. So even if your base gets destroyed, your teammates could give you units and that'd be a lot easier to work with. But those Atlantis have emerged from the surface to deliver their AA justice to those T2 torps, but they're receiving a lot more firepower now. So they're going to dip underneath the surface once again. 2 of them at 4-star veterancy now. And one of them almost on his way to his 1st star. But Team 1 being severely pushed back here by Team 2 in the Navy. And it's not looking good here for Team 1. Team 2 also being very aggressive in the northeast. More forces diverted for that attack vector as well. These these Tempests need to come online sooner rather than later. One of them is about to finish, but unfortunately with the heaping amounts of battleships that are online here just for Team 2's Han Solo, he has 7 of them. So Team 2 probably sitting at about 20 or so battleships is ridiculous. Team 1, I mean, they've had a lot of headway with their nukes, but those are easily countered by SMDs. Don't see any plays for any game enders yet. Bug is almost done. And I don't see, yeah, like I said, I don't see any other plays for game enders. Team 1 will probably be building the game ender. They have access to Paragons, to YOLOs, and Mavors, but I don't see any of those under construction. 41 minutes on the clock. But again, the battleship's starting to get very thin here for Team 1. And Team 2 also on station with engineers to scoop up all of the juicy reclaim. We were at 220,000. Now sitting at 260. I need to move this a little bit. 263,000. So a little bit more, but it just tells you how much mass is involved with naval units. And now all the galaxies here from Seoul, at least some of them, diverting westward, going after the facilities here for Sapir, who were originally owned by Mutant Gene Pool. I don't know why he ran into this facility to just go after kennels. I don't understand that play. I mean, if he was a Cybern, I kind of see it because he could kill a lot more off, but I don't get it. Let me know down in the comments what you think about that play. I don't agree with it. Of course, I'm not the one playing. I'm also not an 800. I'm a 400, so he's a little bit more knowledgeable than me. I still don't understand it though. And those Atlantis, that's a lot of firepower. But you see those sub-hunters online here, those Yasaus. T3 Navy is being primarily to buy those Neptunes. And there are torpedoes on board the Galaxies, of course, but it looks like they're dealing with those Yasaus realistically quickly. The bombers overhead trying to take out that frontline Galaxy, and there it goes with some Neptune assistance. Unfortunately, Team 1, Sapir loses the T3 naval headquarters, and now all the attack power from those battleships focusing that Neptune, it is done and dusted now. We even see Neptunes, of course, coming online here for the UEA player of Han Solo. The Tempest is online in the middle, but with the missile ship, the Torrent class online, as well as all of the Galaxies and Omens, that one battleship might not be enough. It'll definitely hold back the tide, but Team 2 is focusing so much attention on this western side. It's forcing a lot of the naval fleet, to kind of just go single file, allowing a lot of the guns on Team 2's Navy to open up a lot more effectively against one target versus, a bunch of targets. So you never want to line up your units single file because they're really easy to take out that way, as evidenced by the fact that one goes by, especially with some of these naval facilities really essentially body blocking Team 1's fleet. And it's not really going well over here. All the ASF flying over top, but they're not really doing anything. They're not guarding anything. A couple of bombers, but that's about it. The attack in the east is starting to progress as well. The Galaxies outnumber the Omens 2-1 here for Team 2, but there are 2 more coming in to assist, and it'll be a 1v1 game. Don't see this going well here for Team 2. Or sorry, for Team 1, excuse me. ASF's running across the map. Team 2, where is that? Whoa, whoa, what's down here? We see some satellites online for Sapir, going after facilities in the southeast here for the air player. But most of the facilities for Team 2 are shielded up, and a Mavor has been started by Han Solo. So Team 2 wanting to end the game sooner rather than later. Team 1 has not elected to do so as of yet. I don't see any sort of game enders online or even started here for Team 1, so it's definitely not going to go well. Explosion somewhere, probably was a Rascom, since I don't see a death message. And now T2 Riptides coming in to face the Neptunes and the Tempest. I love how there's just a tiny little Neptune inside of the shields. Not shields, lasers essentially coming out of the Tempest. It's pretty funny. It's acting as a nice little meat shield here for that Neptune. But the fleet in the middle here, intermixed by Aeon and Cybern forces, are pushing in on Team 1. We even see some T1 Zooey outbound here from Omnihaven to the east, starting to get into the T3 naval facility that he's been trying to kill off this entire game. Another Tempest coming online here for Crayons, but it's, all the UEF units are in range of the first one, and that is not gonna feel good. One of them does get killed off, the couple of the battleships, but there's so much attack power here. 9 of them, and more of them are coming online as we speak. They're coming in single fire. T1 scout spam outbound from Ricky Tiki Tavi. Probably just acting as cannon fodder essentially. There goes the Tempest. It's done and dusted. Neptune's trying to fly on by or swim on by, but they come into range of multiple gun batteries, and well, we see how that went. Explosion to my east ear, but in the southeast looks like there was a teleportation of an SACU outbound from a Seraphim, which might indicate that was Melon-wise, I would assume. I would assume. I might be wrong, but I would probably assume that was Melon-wise targeting the air grid. Which at this point, yeah, that could be good to take out the air grid, but still, it's not going to be enough. The Navy is where most of the battle lies. And for a while, I thought Team 1 was really, in the lead with that, but Team 2 just hunkered down, ecoed a ton, and forced their way back. Sol was actually defeated by Sapir. He tried to make it back to the water, but he just couldn't make it make it in time. Team 2 loses one of their main naval players, and there goes control of all the units here for Omnihaven. Well, that's another calm death here at 46 minutes. Team 1 and Team 2 both at 4 players left. And the torpedo spam is in full swing here. It's been there for a while, but now they're focusing on the AA-capable submarines of the Atlantis. At this point, I don't think it's... they'll take out 1 or 2 of them, but honestly, we have SACUs coming online in the water. They're going after reclaim, but walking into severe danger. There goes that one. The Tempest that was being constructed has been denied. T3 Navy has also been denied here for Crayons. The fleet in the east is holding for the time being, but the middle is just being wrecked. 3 satellites are in danger of going down. Another nuke outbound here for Team 1. Point defense nuke is engaged, and this is going to be huge. Okay, how much mass have you killed off? Okay, 38.6. Okay. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 battleships plus 1, 2, 3 submarines in range of that nuke alone. This could be huge for Team 1. It lands a little bit more northward than I would expect. Takes out 1, 2, 3, 4 of the battleships and 1 Atlantis. Kaboom! And now it's at how much mass? 92,000. So what was that? 39. 53,000 mass killed on that one nuke. Definitely mass efficient with that. But unfortunately here it's only delaying the inevitable. While GG Boys says Crayons, his base is now under siege by multiple fleets. And to the west, this land buildup has been essentially denied at this point. Sapir has fought the good fight, but there's multiple battleships and destroyers in range. Explosions going on all the time. In orange dot down southeast. The Mavor has been denied here from Team 1, but again at this point, that was Team 2 building it, not Team 1. cheater, Omni, says Alfie. He's not cheating. He got a secondary base, and it scaled his eco really quickly and pumped out a bunch of ASFs and all the everything that he had. Reinforcing point here in the northeast, but this fleet for Team 2's Rikki Tikki Tavi is just ripping on through. T3 naval headquarters being primaried here by Team 2's Rikki Tikki Tavi, and that facility is has some TMD around it, but the main artillery batteries are about to come in range here pretty shortly. There are a couple of missile ships in there, so spamming of the missiles is underway here. The fleet from Omni Haven's redirecting eastward to deal with this fleet of Omens and aircraft carriers here from Alfie. The firepower resides with Team 2 with just the amount of galaxies online. 20 of them are online currently, just from Omni Haven. Well, most of them more for Sol, but some of them he built himself. And the fleet for Han Solo, those are cruisers. That's not what I want. 3 more battleships online, so we've lost a lot of them. But the main forces for Rikki Tikki Tavi are forcing their way through. Those Omens need to just barely get in range of that facility, and it is done and dusted. It's already taken some hits, which is the beginning of the end. Missile ships raining in all the time. UEF TMD leaves stuff to be desired. That's definitely for sure. Those missiles are raining in all the time, and those shields are going to go down here pretty shortly once those gun batteries open fire. And they're not moving into range as much as they probably could. And the shields are staying actually realistically online, but they are about to fall here pretty shortly. TMD trying to do what it can, but it's just not enough. He's still checking back in the southeast. Those satellites doing great work though for Team 1 Sapir, but they're about to die here pretty shortly with those missiles raining in around their main station. Those Omens have fallen, and Crayons is defeated by Rikki Tikki Tavi. T3 Navy about to be taken out. Another nuke outbound here from Team 1's Melonwise. Where is it one going? All the Novaxes are staying online, which is pretty surprising. Looks like the fleet's going to be taken out once again by the nuke. Don't know where it's going. Where are you going, little nuke? Where are you going? Going back to the southeast. Looks like it's going after maybe this position from Sol. There's an SMD here. That's too loaded. No, it's not going to get anywhere, unfortunately. Here, T3 Navy has been knocked out here for Team 1's Alfie, and that is the last T3 naval headquarters online for Team 1, which means they can no longer produce more T3 units. At least the ones that they can't queue up more. They can build more. It's just the ones that were already queued up and already constructed or started construction. And the fleet from the east is coming into range. Somehow the Novaxers are still online. Somehow. Don't know how, but there's more TMD that's been built. Missile ships are just not letting that position rest. And it's just the collapse of the naval for Team 1 that just really did them in. Satellites over top. Did they find the comm? No, they think that's the comm. You would assume it's the only unit down there. They're trying to ground fire the command. This is hilarious. They're trying to ground fire the commander of Omni Haven. But the AoE is just short to target that comm. They're really trying to get at Omni Haven. Maybe that's what he's talking about, cheater. Maybe that's what he's talking about. I mean, he can easily walk here and it's not an issue. But at least he has all of those satellites' attention. The shields are collapsing. They're trying to stay online, but one of those SACUs took a hit to the face. Trying to build more shielding. It's not going to last long. The fleet from Omni Haven's coming into range. And this base here to the north for Alpha is going to be wiped out. Melonwise, do you have another nuke loaded? No. Surprise, Team 1 didn't go for any sort of game enders. They have, of course, 3 of the 4 available to them. They just chose not to. I feel like a Paragon might have worked, or Paragon or YOLO. I don't think a Scathis would have worked in this scenario. I mean, a Mavor might have, but I feel like nukes definitely would have been probably the better. Well, when you're facing an eco that's a quarter bigger than yours, maybe not. But AoE takes out all of those T3 gens, and Sapir didn't take any hits from it, but there goes the artillery going to rain in on top of him. He's going to be killed off here pretty shortly. One of his Novaxes is taken out, but two of them stand. Still those shields coming back online. Another nuke outbound. Actually, it's outbound from Team 2. Outbound from one of those Plan Bs. And Team 1 loses Sapir to Ricky Tiki Tavi. Good old screen cheating Omni. Your GG, I see. Don't know what that's about. And it does look like Alfie Control K's nuke coming into range. No SMD was built back here. That's definitely a mistake by Moundwise. And there goes it. Nuking the nuke, and kaboom! That air grid is down. The nuke is down. And Team 1's Moundwise is the last remaining player. And those torpedo bombers are coming into range. The bug has made it to the scene. And the torpedoes are going after Moundwise's commander. And at this point, I think I can just speed this up to 1. Because it's pretty apparent where Moundwise is going. Will he recall, or will he just face death? The Soul Ripper is taking some shots from those ASFs, but it's still fine for the time being. Trying to ground fire that commander of Moundwise from the bug, but it's not really working. It's kind of the same thing with the Novax. Still, Moundwise is not dead with all those torpedoes raining in on him. 3,000 hit points and falling. Now he's in the red. It's just the slow march of death. How is he still not dead? AoE actually kills one of the frigates from Team 2. Oh, there he goes. He's down to less than 1,000. Let's see. There he goes. Man, that was very long. The Team 1 loses their final player, and Team 2 wins the game. I have no idea what was Alfie's talking about with the screen cheating. No idea what that's in reference to. Let me know down in the comments if you know. But I feel like Team 2's Omni Haven, I mean, he did a huge amount of work. But honestly, I feel like MVP goes to Han Solo. In the middle, a lot of the action was going on, and he developed a nice little fleet, came in, and pulled all of that attention away, most of it at least, to the west, giving a lot of time for Team 2 to build back up and build a ton of galaxies and just shove it down Team 1's throat. And I feel like that one diversion just led the way for the Navy to just keep on pushing forward. So I think Han Solo gets the MVP award. Let me know down in the comments if you felt the same way about it or not. If you haven't done so already, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, share this video with anyone, everyone, and especially your pets. And I will see all of you in the next one.